welcome. These will be my thoughts on The Patience, Season 1, Episode 2, Alan Learns to Meditate. The episode is rated TVMA, so will this video be? There will be spoilers for these first two episodes. And yeah, I like the episode before this one. Absolutely love this episode. Yeah, so I know just my last video on this show, I praised Domhnall Gleeson's acting, but my God, he is good. At this point, it feels silly to say I gotta watch more. Like, usually I say that when I've barely seen someone in anything, but, you know, there's the Star Wars sequel trilogy, there's Ex Machina. Was he in Mother, or am I... I think he appeared in Mother as well. Yeah, just incredible talent. And I appreciate that he takes such varied roles. Like, you'd never think that, yeah, some of these characters are very different from each other. I suppose I shouldn't dive too much into why, because spoiler territory. Yeah. When I saw the title for this episode, I did wonder if it was referring to the flashback, or if somehow Gene Sam was teaching him, because, I mean, that's next level. That's really... I guess that might be conducive to the therapy, so fair enough. Now, I really appreciated yeah, there's a couple of things here. I am very fond of when a piece of media that is in part about a character grieving the death of someone, that the person they're grieving is presented as basically an actual human fucking being. You know, not this, like, listen, I get wanting to say, oh, you know, they were a saint. I went through that, but, you know, ideally we appreciate, yeah, you know, they had their flaws. Everyone does. And I thought they did a really, really solid job on the thing with... So I guess I just have to call him Guy too, don't I? Because we don't get a name. But Guy from Greek Restaurant. Yeah. The they did such a good job on that. And yeah, that really, it is just Donald carrying the so much of, because, yeah, I need to explain what I mean by that. I really felt like I had actually seen this place, met this guy, you know, met the guy, and, you know, no, at the end of the day, like, there's no visual of him or the place or anything, but, like, the dialogue and the delivery just really put us right there. Just wonderfully done on that. Yeah, I think that... Yeah, so some scene by scene. Yes, the let's see. I guess the first thing was the... Yeah, he gets him the first bit of food, and this time doesn't take a bite, even though it seems like tasty fucking meal. I can't really call it a burger, can I? And afterwards, he decides, you know, the doctor decides to try with, you know, like, you know, he looks at it, we look at it, and we're all thinking the same thing. But, like, yeah, you know, we're all thinking there's no way that he's gonna get out using that. But I mean, who wouldn't try in those circumstances? So yeah, he keeps at it for a while, and eventually the thing breaks off. And then he shakes it for a while, and eventually the thing comes back out. Yeah, I did appreciate. I was wondering if they were gonna have, because like he puts the fork back afterwards, and it's one of those things like obviously he's gonna notice. You know, are they gonna have like a forced scene of the Doctor trying to convince him that, oh no it you know, I wasn't trying to escape, kind of thing. So appreciate that they didn't subject us to that. And I think that is around where at one point in this episode, certainly, we hear muffled sounds of urinating. Even do and it goes on for a while, and then it seems to stop, and then it starts back up. I know that Carell is normally a comedian, but that felt like, okay, did they confuse him for Leslie Nielsen? But um, eventually Alan does, tell him, it's impossible for me to do therapy with you whilst terrified. And, and then this very, yeah, really, really cool wrinkle to the concept of, as long, Alan will um, engage in therapy with him, provided that he not hurt Alan or anyone else without talking to Alan first. So, there's in addition to, the stress and trauma of captivity, he, as long as he keeps trying to cure him, maybe he can, keep him from hurting anyone else in the meanwhile. Obviously, if it were to succeed, I haven't watched past this episode, so I have no idea, but if it were to succeed, long term, he would save everyone that Gene Sam was going to kill. And yeah, I think, yeah. So before I talk about, right, yes, very nicely done on the sounds from upstairs. There's the thudding and yeah, and then we have the and yeah, over the course of the episode, we're thinking it too. It's not only Alan who's thinking, is that like a potential escape, maybe? And the other thing was the yeah. So the yeah, it flashes back to his yeah, him trying to learn meditation, being taught by his dead wife, who in the flashback is alive. Probably be a terrible teacher if this was after her death. And the yeah, you know, I like the thing about, he says, well, of course I'm in my head. That's where everything happens, including meditation. But yeah, she acknowledges, never mind. Meditation's hard for someone like you. I wish nothing but the best for you. Don't forget me, I begged. But yeah, I did really appreciate when he, so yeah, we learned several new things about Gene Sam. He's married, well, used to be. Do I want to ask? I don't know if I want to know. I mean, hypothetically, maybe he just, I don't know. They went their separate ways, but I'm a little bit worried. A little bit worried about what happened to the wife and the yeah. I don't know. Hypothetically, maybe one of the better case scenarios is they had two kids together that are being kept apart, and she is now locked up in a mental institution possessed by a demon. But yeah, uh, when he talks about right, also the thing with the fucking watch, Jesus Christ, and he kept these things belonging to people he killed. So yeah, very eerily reminiscent of yeah, um, the Holocaust. Um, yeah, maybe it's silly, but every time I mention the Holocaust recently, I feel like I should underline I side with Palestine, not Israel. The yeah, it feels weird to even call it a conflict. A war, it most definitely is not. A genocide is what it is. And yeah, I really hope that it is stopped as soon as at all possible, which is going to take a lot of outside pressure. Now, yeah, Gene Sam says, oh, I mean, I don't know, maybe you needed evidence. And Alan's like, I mean, I believed you. That's pretty fucked up. He thinks there's some chance that maybe he doesn't really think it's true. And yeah, he says maybe you could have one of the watches keep track of time. They still run. Um, well, some of them only walk, and at least one has just taken a seat for now. But yeah, that is a noteworthy detail. He turns down a clock, and for what? Yeah, okay, probably the fact that yeah, it's reminding him of the Holocaust too. And yeah, so I quite appreciate that there are several, times where we hear the thudding from upstairs before Alan tries to communicate with that person. Yeah, so a great bit of setup, reminder, and eventual payoff. Yeah. Let's see. Yes. So he explains about his job and the guy, And yeah, um, it is one of those things. Yeah. Um, the um, the thing about it's because the thing is it's a normal, like, you know that sort of thing happens in the real world, and thankfully does not always lead to serial killing. But it is the kind of thing, there's a lot of people who've, said, ugh, I wish I could do something to, that kind of asshole. And I think the, so I should have said the following earlier when I was talking about Donald's talent, but if you haven't already, I want to say the channel is called Be Kind Rewind, and the video title I want to say is why Vanessa Redgrave gave the most controversial Oscar speech ever, or something along those lines. Award speech, maybe. Yeah, really, really excellent video. Now, yes, so yeah, and Alan, Gene Sam doesn't have to be the one to say it. He says 4 months ago, and then Alan's like, that's when I started treating you. And yeah, basically he says, well, TikTok, um, not the not the app, where I understand a number of people have learned a lot about the genocide in Gaza, so that's awesome, but I have heard some bad things about it too. I have not used it myself at all, so I can't say anything definitive, but I did want to note that it's great that it's helping people learn about. Yeah. Anyway, yes, no, he imitates the noise a clock makes, and then says, the longer it takes you to cure me, the sooner, the let's see, the greater the risk that I am gonna give in to my dark passenger. I'm just saying, Alan, urge to kill rising. But yeah, the whole story, I love all the little details that, like, just, yeah, he talks about the way they were having the place redone, you know, and the um okay, so I think, was that about a different, he talked some about the food as well, but I think that was the food he was bringing. But just the fact that there is this, he's actually got these, he doesn't only think about serial killing, there are things he likes, such as Huey Lewis in the News, and you know the music of Whitney Houston. But yeah, um, the fact that he is talking about the way they're having the place redone, not long before he starts talking about how much he wanted to murder that guy, that is a bit of a red flag in a different direction, because, like, for a different reason than, yeah, um, that means that the killing really is just, like, to him, his killing of other people. Yeah, he talks about it like, you know um, he can talk about that and talk about how, all, yeah, these completely neutral to positive things, without, like, it's not separate for him. And yeah, so he, yeah, the we have the, yeah, there's the thing about, if I'm gonna treat you, pad of paper, pen, and the yeah, Gene Sam is almost like hurt, like, I thought you'd have everything that you needed. No, he's deeply concerned. And yeah, Alan's like, I'm not gonna attack you with paper, which, yeah, that does make sense. I think he was more worried about the pen, because I am reliably informed the pen is mightier than the sword and considerably easier to write with. But yeah, he does say, you can pick a pen that doesn't worry you. And I think that does pretty well bring us to the end of the episode. So yeah, he takes off, says he's late for work, and there's thudding from upstairs, and Alan yells a couple of times, and ultimately he doesn't get a verbal response. So he does include, one of the things he shouts is, "Can you talk?" And then we hear some steps on the stairwell, and we don't see who's there, but whoever it is has a fire poker, and Alan just responds with, "Hello." So I did briefly consider, before hearing Alan say hello, and maybe also before the fire poker, I wondered, did Gene Sam, more or less set a trap? Did he, is that him on the stairs? Was he lying about being at work those other times that, I mean, not that he knows that there were thudding noises, but yeah. But yeah, the fire poker and the hello, I feel like are not, don't make a lot of sense for that, but I don't know. Obviously, Gene Sam wouldn't want anyone else there. Could it be a squatter? I'm not asking you to answer this. I'm just thinking out loud, theorizing. But yeah, it's a great hook for the next episode. I'm very, very excited to find out what on earth, who on earth, I suppose I should say. Yeah, I don't have an awful lot to say about the. Yeah, I already. So when I was saying, the yeah, his late wife is not some perfect person. Her throwing food at the wall, maybe to see what sticks. Um, I like that helped humanize her. I don't think I understand why. I get like, in theory, the thing about, oh, he's, their son is rebelling, but what exactly made it, like, I don't know. I didn't really see anything in the scene, um, that, like, sprang out to me Is there an age difference, maybe? I can understand why that would be an issue. Yeah, I don't know. Um, yeah, really looking forward to more. Not 100% certain what day of the week, but I am thinking sometime next week I'll do another episode. Um, yeah, I think that covers everything. Yeah, because right. Now that you know, second episode. Um, no previously on, and no like elaborate opening credits scene. And I appreciate there's other shows that don't have that. Blah blah blah. I just think it's the right choice here. Yeah. Um, I guess I'll briefly note some. I remember reading. It's been a while since I read the reviews for this, but I remember one thing that people mentioned being that they felt that it was the episodes were too short. That was something that bothered them, and I do understand. I mean, I guess it's this thing of certainly. Yeah, I guess. Okay, I'll just say what I read. Some felt that they were basically keeping they didn't have that much material. Um, it's obviously more than would fit in a movie. Like they wouldn't be able to fit all 10 episodes into one movie. But such short episodes, I don't know. I guess I can understand, and certainly um, waiting an entire week and then not getting that much new. I guess I could see that. It just didn't really, so far, doesn't bother me personally. But yeah, I guess we'll see. Um, yeah, I think that does cover the yeah. Um, at one point, Gene Sam said, "You giving me the silent treatment? Really? That doesn't seem very advanced for a therapist." Hmm, maybe not for a therapist, but I feel like it's pretty reasonable for a fucking prisoner, Mr. Serial Killer. Jesus Christ.